So what's the plan? This is what I'm asking, Nigel. As you say, you've given up a lot of opportunities to do this.
I have.
And you've got 5 MPs, which is a solid result. Some people thought you would get way more. Some people thought you wouldn't.
Yeah.
But to go from 5 MPs to making the type of impact you're talking about,
Yeah.
you have got 5 years of very, very hard work. And the question that a lot of people might be asking is, what is it that you're actually trying to do? What does a reform success 5 years from now look like, and how do you get there?
And that goes back to my priorities. I've got 3 things to do, haven't I, fundamentally, politically. Number 1 is to serve the constituency of Clacton and its people. As an MEP, I just represented those that voted for me. But as an MP, you have a deeper responsibility towards that community. So, I'm getting going on that. But of course, you start with nothing. You've got to hire staff and get offices and do all those things. Number 2, people want me to be effective within the parliamentary estate and in the chamber. To succeed, we've got to build a national political infrastructure. We've got to raise tens of millions of pounds. We've got to create the feeling of discipline within the party, whilst at the same time understanding individual conscience. And that's a balance that party leaders always struggle with. They're always accused by the press of either being starlit or being absolutely useless, and weak. And we have to succeed at other elections. The Liberal Democrats, it's very interesting this. They've won 72 seats. A huge percentage of their national vote is in those 72 seats. Why? Because Paddy Ashdown put them on a path back in the 90s where you build local teams, local bases, you start winning council seats. And only when you've won a certain number of council seats do you even have half a chance of winning a parliamentary seat. That was the Ashdown formula. It worked brilliantly. They had this big rise in seats and votes up till 2010, and then Clegg was seen to blow it. That was over students and money predominantly. But the Lib Dems have come back, and it's very interesting. Even when the national opinion polls for the Lib Dems had them on the floor, they were still doing well in council by-elections. So building that grassroots base. So my first big project, and I haven't really talked about this before, but my first big project is going to be the first Thursday in May next year is the English County Council elections. There are 2,300 county council seats up for grabs, and that is my first big target. And you can judge me whether I'm doing well or badly on that day. But I think if, and it's a big if, we can build the structure, we can find over 2,000 really good, solid, reliable people who think the right way and are prepared to give up time, for their local counties and communities, I think we can make a massive step forward. It's interesting. People think, of course, it's, you'll just hurt the Tories. One of the reasons that Labour vote share was down at 33.8% was more Labour votes came to reform than anybody has yet given it credit for. And I found it really interesting that the Sunday after the election, there was Tony Blair in the Sunday Times saying the Labour Party need to watch reform. He gets it. He gets that our message resonates very strongly in those red wall seats. He gets it that in over 100 seats, second to Labour isn't the Conservatives, it's reform. So I think we've got huge potential. I think next year is very, very big. The year after that, we have Welsh Parliament elections. The Welsh Labour vote was down 3.9%. We've got a real opportunity coming up in these years. Now, leading up to that, obviously, there's policy development, there's fundraising, there's structure, there's all the things that I said. So the plan is very, very clear. The plan is to become the centre right of British politics. The plan is to replace what for 190 years we've known as the Conservative Party. Is it wildly ambitious? You bet your life it is. But that's what I'm going to try and do. They are not fit for purpose. They serve no agenda. They stand for nothing. It's almost irrelevant who becomes the leader. I mean, I'm a very, very good, sort of diviner of where we are with Conservatives. The Jacob Rees-Moggs of the party think I should be involved and invited in. And you've got scores of other One Nation MPs who think I shouldn't even be spoken to in the tea room. And that sums up the divide that exists within the party. And I can't see them sorting it out.